Hello, dear students. Very good morning. Today we will see IRC method of design of flexible payment. So far we have seen in the last class what are all the various failures, map cracking, alligator cracking, pumping, etc. Okay. Today exclusively for flexible payment as per IRC 37 2012. This is the recent one. Earlier IRC 37 1970, then IRC 37 1984, IRC 37 2001, now presently IRC 37 2012. Whatever in the previous guidelines, almost 90 to 92% same. Only difference is based on the different research works which have been carried out by various researchers in the field of highway engineering in all respects, whether it is traffic engineering, whether it is pavement construction, whether it is transport planning, whether it is pavement design, whether it is pavement material, irrespective of the field wherein the research work which have been done by the various researchers and eminent people have been incorporated in the guidelines. So we will see exclusively IRC 37 2012. It is based on mechanistic empirical method. The limiting routing is recommended as 20 mm in 20% of the length for design traffic up to 30 MSA, million standard axle. What is MSA? Million standard axle. So in exam also they will not give long form, they will give only abbreviation. You should practice it within 2-3 times. If you practice with interest, you will never forget. And 10% of the length for the design traffic beyond to that design traffic. The recommended method considers design traffic in terms of the cumulative number of standard axles 80 kilonewton. I do not wish to read all words in the paragraph. You yourself can understand, right? Only the number of commercial vehicles having gross vehicle weight of 30 kilonewton. That is important. Gross vehicle weight you have to consider. And their axle loading is considered for the purpose of design of payment. Third point, assessment of the assessment of the present day average traffic. That is important when you are taking up the project of design for the construction. You have to design the payment with respect to the present average traffic, that is based on continuously for 7 days 24-hour count made in accordance with IRC 1972 traffic census on estimated by analyzing the past trends of traffic growth, change in demand of traffic by factors like specific development, land use changes, etc. All these developmental features, land use that you have studied in basic civil engineering itself, any changes have been taken place in that particular location where the road is required to be constructed should be taken into account. Present trend of traffic, and also it should be forecasted at least for 10 to 15 years what would be the rate of growth of traffic in that particular locality, depending upon agriculture sectors development, depending upon industrial development therein, etc. We have to look into. As these development takes place simultaneously, the road network are required to be spread all over the localities to communicate or for communication purpose. Communication here, movement. Communication, there could be any number of meaning. What I am speaking to you and telling to you is also communication. Communicating means from one place to another place. If you want to travel, that is also communicating between the two places or terminal stations. That we call specifically transportation, movement of men and materials. If the data for the annual growth rate, that's what I have already said without reading. Commercial vehicles is not available, or if it is less than 5%, a growth of 5% should be used as per IRC SP. SP means Special Publication. 84 2009, very recent. Design life N. The design life is defined in terms of the cumulative number of standard axles MSA, cumulative, that can be carried before a major strengthening or rehabilitation or capacity augmentation of the pavement is necessary. It depending upon each and every road need not come under this category. Wherever it is required, we have to consider all these. Depending upon road type, design traffic is ranging from, instead of ranging, if you remove ease should not be there if you want to say ranges. If you add ease, then it should be ranging. एक बार गलती होता है ना टाइपिंग में ड्यू टू ओवर साइटेड. अच्छा है, सो दैट वी कैन टीच दैट ग्रामर ऑल्सो हियर. एक आध बार आप रिपोर्ट लिखते हैं. When you have start writing the report for project or seminar or technical presentation, suppose if at all you come across such difficulties, now you can learn. This is the opportunity for you from your teacher that you can learn how to write the sentence. Design traffic is ranging लिखना चाहिए. Otherwise, design traffic ranges is नहीं आना चाहिए. That's all the grammar English. Now from 10 to 15 years. So this is the design life. So I have already told we have to forecast for 10 to 15 years. That means it is ranging. Vehicle damage factor VDF. It is defined as equivalent number of standard axles per commercial vehicle. The vehicle damage factor is a multiplier to convert the number of commercial vehicles of different axle loads and axle configuration into the number of repetitions of standard axle load of magnitude 80 kilonewton as per the guideline. This is to be taken. So this formula you yourself can read. Just I will say about the formula. Number of standard axles for same damage is equal to load on axle, whatever it is coming, divided by standard axle load that we have seen, whole to the power of 4. If it is single angle with a single wheel on other side, you have to take this. If it is single axle with the dual wheels, I have already shown along with the figure, then you have to consider this formula. For standard axle load, you have to take 65, 80, 148, 240, 224, depending upon the dual wheel assembly. Okay? Example of VDF. The vehicle, as I have already told, the engine part will have only single wheel, and then dual wheel, and then trident, tandem or tandem, dual. Usually for such long vehicles to carry goods of such kind. For example, if you want to transport from the showroom to retailer shops, say cars, motorcycles, tractors, trailer units, etc., even bulldozers, etc., has to be carried in a big, huge truck, tractor and trailer unit. In that case, in order to accommodate number of such vehicles to transport from showroom to the retailer shops in different parts of India, it is necessary to have such big vehicles, right? Of course, bulldozers usually not carried by the tractor and trailer, because that itself is so heavy, it cannot be. That will be sent from which means railways, goods trains. Okay. Sample size for axle load survey. That should be like this. Total number of commercial vehicles per day, if it is less than 3000, minimum percentage of commercial traffic to be surveyed is 20%. 3000 to 600, 15%. More than 6000, just 10%. These are all the guidelines. It is to be followed. LDF, lane distribution factor. Distribution of commercial traffic in each direction. And in each lane. That is also depending upon number of lanes, which is required for determining the total equivalent standard axle load applications, and it should be considered in the design. Okay? So lane is important, commercial traffic is important, number of vehicles, and then it is to be used in the design as equivalent standard axial load. In the absence of adequate and conclusive data, suppose sometimes it may happen you may not get adequate data, the following distribution may be assumed until more reliable data on placement of commercial vehicles on the carriageway lanes are available. So unless you get the data, you cannot stop. Show must go on. So in that case, you have to follow certain other guidelines given by it. Okay, let us proceed. Lane distribution calculation. If that is not the case, then you have to calculate in this way. So let me zoom little bit so that it can be seen. Okay, now it can be seen. What it says? A realistic assessment of distribution of commercial traffic by direction and by lane is necessary as it directly affects the total equivalent standard axial load application used in the design. Until reliable data is available, the following distribution may be assumed. How? In case of single lane roads, traffic trend tends to be more channelized on single roads than two-lane roads, and to allow for this concentration of wheel load repetitions, the design should be based on total number of commercial vehicles in both directions. That means you have to account both the direction movements, and it should be adopted in the design when you are considering single lane road. Two-lane single lane carriage roads, in the similar way, 75% of the commercial vehicles in both the direction has to be considered. Four-lane single carriageway road, the design should be of 40%. In this way, it keeps on changing as per the guideline. So in exam, when such questions are asked, you need not have to remember each and everything. Give one or two steps. That's all. In the similar way, for other number of lane roads, the guidelines may be followed, and accordingly it can be deployed in the design. So in that way you have to write the answer diplomatically after understanding each and everything in the theory. Whatever is printed on the guideline you cannot write in the exam. Just it will be asked for not maximum more than 5 marks. So how long you can write and explain, and how long you can remember, is it not? So in that way, essence should be written. The design traffic in terms of cumulative number of standard axles to be carried during the design life of the road should be computed using the following equation. Sometimes certain work I have to give it as homework, even on video watch show or in the online teaching also. I will not say. Why? Little work should be given as homework to the students. Then only students will open the book on daily basis. For curiosity, teacher has told like this. What is there in the book we will see. So we have to create certain positive feelings in the mind of students. N is equal to 365 multiplied by 1 plus r to the power of n minus 1 divided by r, small r, multiplied by capital A, capital D multiplied by capital F, where capital A is equal to capital P whole multiplied by 1 plus r to the power of x. In some books you can see when it is separately dealt, instead of small x, n itself is used. Here, why it is used specifically x? Because there is n in the above equation. That's why, that's all. Even you can use n here also, because that itself is split and written. Okay? Anyway, separately a also is there, that is to be included or incorporated. This is separate value. That's why it is taken n, this is taken x. Now you yourself during lecture period let me know, or I will be going to give homework or assignment. Then you yourself can write down what is what. Just for example, one I will say. What is R? R is nothing but the rate of growth of traffic in percentage. Okay, how the traffic will grow day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. If particular value of growth rate is not available exactly, not known, then you can assume 7%. If it is not given, you can assume 7%. But sometimes some author says it may be 5%. Right? I would like to say average 6%. But usually we take 7%. Subgrade now. Requirements of CBR. I have already explained sufficiently this. So there is no much scope for me now. However, I will summarize it. Subgrade is always to be tested for its strength property, especially CBR, California Bearing Ratio. Minimum CBR of 8% for traffic greater than 450, CVPD. What do you mean by CVPD? What is CVPD? I have already told many number of times. Commercial vehicles for payment design. Commercial vehicle for payment design. CBR can also be determined from dynamic cone penetrometer 60 cone that we have studied in the foundation engineering. Every time everything need not have to be taught in detail. Whatever you have studied, I myself might have taught to you or some other teacher. He must have told there about the test, how it is performed on the soil to evaluate the value. Accordingly, this formula is there. Here, capital N means number of blow millimeter. It is measured penetration millimeter per blow. Okay. So you should remember the previous one also. You should not forget. Where different types of soils are used in subgrade, minimum 68 average value for each type is required. So always you have to go for at least 6 to 8 trials and average value should be reported as CBR value. That would be more ideal, especially for the design purpose. 90th percentile for high volume and 80th percentile for other category of road is adopted as design CBR. Maximum permissible variation. Where variation is more average, CBR should be average of 6 samples and not 3. You see, specifically it is mentioned. Specifically it is mentioned instead of 6, 3, it should be 6. Let us stop here and let us continue in the next class. Okay? Along with the next class continuation, we will continue along with this. Okay? Thank you. Bye.